Welcome to Comics Versus. We're the Lorehounds. I'm your host, David, and I'm still waiting to learn what the plural form of eat shit is. But with me here today, his heart screams out justice for Sheepy, is my dear friend and co-host, Jean. Jean, how you doing?
I'm good, man. And listen, I have no fear and would really like to get me one of these freaking rings. And this is our episode-to-episode coverage of Season 1 of Lanterns, Episode 1, titled Pilot.
Remember, we are an independent podcast. If you're new here or if you're a regular, we do depend upon your subscriptions to keep the lights on and the lanterns all charged up and get our rings all charged up. And so if you have it within you and you feel like you want to support what we do over here at the Lorehounds, check us out. We're on Patreon and at Supercast. You can go to the links in the show notes of every episode and get those links. Jean, how can people get in touch with us if they have feedback for the show, especially voicemails?
Well, you can send us a message at comics@thelorehounds.com. Again, that's comics, COMICS, versus, VS, @thelorehounds.com. Send us an email, a voice note. We love to hear people's voices. We hear enough of our own voices all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I would love to hear anyone's voice tell us about how they feel about the shows that we're talking about. And you can reach us on our Discord as well. We have a jumping Discord forum for many, many different shows, Lanterns included. So we would love to get your thoughts and your feelings about the things that we all are watching together.
Yeah, and House of the Dragon, we just, I feel like we're just rolling straight on from last week. But the House of the Dragon channel is still popping. So I think we're going to record our feedback for that episode, or not the feedback and season wrap up later this week. I think we're aiming for Wednesday.
We're aiming for Wednesday.
We'll have that pod out for y'all later. I know we've got lots of other stuff coming in the feed. I believe your Spider-Man coverage just dropped.
Yes, it did. And if you haven't seen Brand New Day, you should probably go see Brand New Day because it was freaking awesome.
And we got a lot else going on the feed. Definitely go check out all of our affiliates too. In the links in the show notes, there's a link tree, subscriptions, contact form, Discord server. That's how you can get to the Discord server. There's a link there. And then, of course, all of our other affiliate podcasts. So definitely go check them out. Jean, today we are going to start spoiler free. So if people are just trying to check out the show and say, hey, what's up? Should I watch this? Is this something I want to watch? What we're going to do is we're going to have our intro section up until the first break, all spoiler free. We'll just talk in generalities. We'll set up the premise for the show. So what's published out there, if you watch a trailer or something like that, just that basic information. You have some background lore for us. So people who don't know about the Green Lantern storyverse, that part of the storyverse, the DC storyverse, you can, Jean, you can get us sort of oriented and give us a little bit of context for what's going on. Then we'll talk about our fresh takes, what we thought of the episode. Again, spoiler free. Then we'll take a break and then we'll get into the scene by scene breakdown of the episode. Does that sound pretty good?
That sounds awesome.
And I see Alicia just posted in our production server that she's got some feedback too. So I'll read that when we get to our fresh takes section. I'll include her because we're still working out the details. Alicia is deep in the silo, in the middle of silo coverage. And her and Luke are covering that episode to episode. They have book club stuff going on. They've got weekly breakdowns. They are deep into the silo world. But I know she's very excited about the show. And hopefully the three of us can maybe cover the show, maybe make up for the show that shall not be named. This feels like that. This feels like what we expected from that show, right? Doesn't it?
A little bit, yes.
You know, with the intrigue and the mystery and like the grittiness of it all. So I'm really excited. So I am technically covering for Alicia for these first few episodes, but then once Alicia gets clear, we'll figure out, how we're going to do it. But I don't think I want to break away from the show. So it'll just be a figuring out of how we do our schedule for the week and that kind of stuff. But I've got a message from Alicia, so we'll include that in just a second. So let me give
shout out Alicia doing all the hard work.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Got that Spider-Man out, and thank you for that. And I can't wait to talk to her in conjunction with you about what we are watching currently.
And I think you got some X-Men coverage coming up at the end of the month, right?
Yeah, we do. Where she and I are going to talk about X-Men 97 season 2.
Nice.
So a lot of stuff is happening.
Right, because you're out actually technically on vacation.
I'm somewhere in the, I guess I'm in the South. I don't know.
Beautiful coastal East Coast of the Americas.
Yeah. It's
right, enjoying some family time. So thanks for breaking away from the family time to cover this show.
I think they're fine without me. I think they're okay with it.
Sounds good. So anyway, let's set up the show a little bit. This is an 8-episode HBO Max. Is there a difference anymore? I don't know. But it's a series from the DC Studios and Warner Brothers. It's created by Chris Mundy, Damon Lindelof, and Tom King, with Mundy as the showrunner and James Gunn and Peter Safran as some of the executive producers. It premiered yesterday, relative to when we're recording this, August 16th. It's going to be airing weekly on Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern through October 4th. Kyle Chandler plays the veteran Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, and Aaron Pierre plays a new recruit, John Stewart Jr., technically he's a junior, intergalactic peacekeepers whose rings can conjure whatever their will can imagine. The season follows them into a murder in Rushville, Nebraska, that Hal reads as an alien incursion unfolding across 2016 and 2026 in the James Gunn DC verse world, I believe. Is this show lining up with the larger DC framework?
It is. It is. This is firmly within the DCU. And we'll talk about a little bit about that because we have some hints going forward about that.
Now, let me just caveat something for people who are not into the DC superhero world of stuff. The cool thing about the show is you don't need to know nothing about anything. You can watch this show straight. It's a buddy cop. It's a murder mystery. It's we'll talk a little bit more about the concurrent events and the sort of things that Lindelof is talking to us about from his point of view, because he loves to embed social commentary into his shows. But this show is straight up, you don't need to know anything about Green Lanterns because they explain everything in the show and it's a masterful job. I have never seen, well, maybe that's maybe never is a strong word, but
I'll take it. It's okay. Keep never.
Okay.
Keep never.
Some of this exposition setup is some of the best that I have ever seen. Developing character, setting up rules for the world, all the while pushing the stakes forward of the show. So we're not like, pause the action, do the exposition dump over here, and then now hit play again and we start. It all moves forward all simultaneously. And I am not a comic book aficionado like you are or Alicia is. And I know a little bit about the Green Lantern structure framework, just the basics of it. Maybe I saw the Ryan Reynolds movie like a gazillion years ago. I have no idea.
Good gosh.
Yeah, right. We won't talk about that. But I don't know that much. And I never felt disoriented or lost in this. They just handled it so well. But I think it would be helpful if you were able to set up a little bit of introductory lore for us, just so that we have some context going into it.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna go deep, obviously, but I will give you a couple of quick primers. So the Green Lantern Corps in DC Comics, you think of them as a universal galactic peacekeepers, but not that kind. Not the kind that I don't like. Everybody knows I don't like those kinds, but it's different. They're different. All right. Peacekeepers, but not that. All right. So they wear these rings, and the rings are powered by will, the Green Lantern Corps, right? In DC comics, there's something called the emotional electromagnetic spectrum, and each color corresponds to a different emotional state that someone would have. And you can use that to actually power yourself. You can use that energy and channel it into absolutely physical constructs, right? So you have red, which is rage, orange, which is avarice, yellow is fear, green is will, blue is hope, indigo is compassion, violet is love, gray is sorrow, black is death, white is life. And these colors, when you're wearing a ring, you can use those emotions to create things. And Green Lanterns use their willpower, use the power of their will to actually create constructs. So that's what you see Hal Jordan doing in this show.
And that's why it's green and why they're Green Lanterns. Got it.
That's why they're Green Lanterns, because the color green equates to one's will in the DC comic universe.
That's interesting. And I'm going to make a note because there's something that I want to flag on the cold open break. There's something, I don't know if you caught it, but I'm going to go make a note really quick in the outline so that we talk about it. But carry on with the background. That's all interesting too, because I didn't know anything about that. I don't know why they were called Green Lanterns.
So the people who created this Green Lantern Corps, they're the guardians of the universe. And they're presumed to be the first sentient life in DC universe. They are now immortal beings. One of their kind, many billions of years ago, started a war, killed a lot of people. They felt bad, and a segment of that population left their planet Malthus and went to the planet Oa, and they formed the Corps.
Well, I think in a way to make deep.
Sorry.
For those that know, that's for the heads. That's for the heads, right? Yeah, they want to hear you say these things.
And they formed a corp to make amends, to send people out into the universe in order to prevent and stop evil. So we have that. Then you have Hal Jordan, who is the first human Green Lantern. It was thought that humans did not deserve to be Green Lanterns. Earth is considered in DC Comics as a backwater, that we are not sophisticated, not intelligent enough, and not in control of ourselves enough as inhabitants of this planet of Earth to wield the power of the emotional electromagnetic spectrum. Hal Jordan changes that, and his character development becomes possibly the greatest Green Lantern that has ever existed. So that's who Hal Jordan is. John Stewart is quite possibly the second greatest Green Lantern that has ever existed. And he is the third Green Lantern of human origins. The second would be Guy Gardner, who most of us, if you've seen the Superman film from 2025, which is last year, the first entry movie for the DC universe that James Gunn set up, he is actually the Green Lantern in that film.
Oh, so does this fit in then with this?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Fair.
There are a lot of mysteries here. They set up a lot of mysteries here.
Cool. Okay? We'll talk about it at the end then, because the end of this episode sets up some stuff that we have questions about. I'm so excited for this show. I don't know if people out there listening could tell how hyped up I am, but the construction of this episode for a murder mystery sort of plot cop procedural thing, it's so good. it just by the numbers, textbook, boom, 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 set it up so that the first episode out, like we're already running at full velocity. And the ending scene of the first episode is just like, wait a minute, what is going on? Like, I'm hooked. I'm ready to go. Give me next week right now.
Yeah, totally agree.
I don't know if you've got any more background. That feels like
that's all. I think that's really enough.
Okay.
But like you said, you don't need to have known any of this stuff in order to watch this series, because they do such a great job of explaining.
Right. They really do. Do you want to lead into your fresh takes then? And then,
sure.
We've got Alicia's, and then I've got my notes too.
I think the opening with John and his family was it's must see TV. I was glued and totally like, oh, what am I watching here? What is going on in this show? Because that was totally unexpected, and really well done to show what type of person John is and why.
Okay. Right. And remember, we're trying to keep it a little bit spoiler free here at the beginning.
Yes. So I'm not going into what happened, but yeah.
But there is a lot of character set up right away.
Yes. You can feel the tension between John and Hal immediately. It's noticeable for me, as is their chemistry. And I think, like I said, there's multiple mysteries that we have to solve. And we don't have to wait to figure out there are multiple mysteries that need to be solved. We know there are things that need to be gotten to the bottom of. And how we get there is going to be a journey. And I think this is going to be an enjoyable journey. And the last thing I'll say is being the first of anything can always be rough.
Right.
So keep that in mind.
So here's Alicia's notes right now. She just posted on our Discord. Watching the episode now and loving it! ! If you guys want to share my 2 cents so far. She says, phenomenally well constructed from a filmmaking perspective. Hard agree. Really good cinematography. Great shot setups. Just the right balance between exposition and intrigue. Also agree. Like the way that they set up character and plot and the rules of the world, but also create this really compelling mystery. Very good. She says, John already feels like a full character. They've managed to do that difficult thing of showing why a character is reserved while showing his depth at the same time. I would assume that you agree with this comment as well.
Yeah, I agree with everything so far.
Right. She continues, I think 1996 is the earliest we've seen in the DCU timeline, ? Except I guess to say Peacemaker's childhood, but seeing Hal Jordan on TV gives a better sense of why, better sense of the world at that time, right? So that's part of the opening cold open sequence. So I assume that that's correct, that 96 is what we've seen on screen for movies and everything like that. And she concludes, really excited to see where the show goes and can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. Neither can we, Alicia. We can't wait till you finish the episode, and hopefully we'll I know you're busy with Silo, but like let's hope that we get maybe a crossover event at some point and until you get free of that and then can come back over here full time. We'll see. So a couple of my thoughts. First, the 9 p.m. primetime slot, Jean, that's a heavy, heavy load for a superhero show to carry. Don't you think?
I've said before that they have James Gunn, DC Studios, has a lot riding on this show. There's so much on this show right now. And that 9 p.m. slot just shows how confident that they were in this show.
To draft it right in behind House of the Dragon season 3? No break. Yeah. And that's smart. I mean, I think that's from an HBO standpoint, they need to own that that Sunday 9 p.m. Eastern time slot. and just lock us down. That's appointment television, man. That is prime for what we do as podcasters, 8-episode length, all of that stuff. It's like, it just fits so squarely in our box. And like Alicia said, the construction and the filmmaking from that perspective, this is some prestige TV making. The rack focus, the cinematography, the lineups, all of the shots are really simple, but also really work. The lighting is really good. It's not too dark. It's not too light. Tonally, it reads appropriate for every scene that they're in. It's just really, really smart. And I said this already, that all of the character development and all of the exposition never pauses the plot development. It never stops the forward motion of the show. So it could be a barroom conversation. It could be driving somewhere, in sort of an interstitial scene. Every single piece of dialogue moves the story forward, sets the stakes, clarifies the rules, puts characters into conflict, tightens that conflict, releases that conflict. It's just brilliant. And the dialogue is so snappy. It's so funny. The eat shit line, like I love that line. That was like so good. We'll get to it. But then Lindelof, this is so you and I spoke on the phone earlier today when we were trying to get some logistics planned up. And we were both like, yo, this is like Lovecraft Country, Watchmen, back before you and I were podcasters. We would call each other up. We'd be texting each other, going, hey, whoa, like, I can't believe they're saying this. I can't believe they're going there with this. And one of the things that I really am enjoying about what Lindelof does in his brand of storytelling is that he will bring in real world scenarios and real world situations. And then he will give social commentary about those things: racism, mass shootings, xenophobia, truth and lie, post-truth world stuff, all of this social commentary. But then that's the thing that was so great about Lovecraft and Watchmen, and was that they're using extraordinary storytelling in this inverted form. So it's not like, oh, hey, racism. Oh, like the bad guy's a racist, right? Oh, okay. Well, whatever. No, they're creating these hyper worlds where you can really see the shape and the depth and the scope of it, and how destructive and how poisonous something like this is. And it's elevated storytelling and social commentary at the same time. And it's just such satisfying television. It's just such satisfying storytelling that we can plumb these depths and have all of these. We can have superhero stuff at the same time. We can have, we have some social ills in our country that we really need to confront and deal with. There's that interrogation scene where I can't say anymore. I got to stop it right there. But anyway, they're like, they even call it out as part of the dialogue. It's so good. And I just love, so I had this thought, and I wanted to see what you think about this. But is Lindelof to the DCU doing what Gilroy did with Andor for Star Wars in this moment with this show? Because this doesn't feel like anything else sort of I'm no expert on the rest of the DCU. So like, this is like, you gotta check me on this. But is this kind of a Gilroy level play where they kind of have this outsider person? I mean, Lindelof knows DC. Like, I'm not saying he doesn't, but he's almost kind of this outside force that comes in with this whole other. He's not attached to anything else, and he can just tell this story in this really raw and gritty. I don't know. Am I off base with this?
No, I don't think you are in this way. Moody, the director, and the comic writer, Tom King, Tom King is integral to this story as well being told. Lindelof is, just based on what we saw him do with Watchmen and what we're seeing now in this very first episode, I'm going to have to agree with you that, yes, he's taken to the DCU what Gilroy did with Andor to Star Wars universe. Because for everything that we love, that I love about comic books and comic book movies and TV shows and all the fantastical elements that I want my magical shit and everything that I watch. I make no apologies.
You got broke with Alice. She wasn't waving her wand during the House of the Dragon.
Exactly. So I make no apologies for that. The thing is, though, when you know that these things do exist in the universe that they're creating, that they're crafting, but they give it to you in a way that is, very familiar to your everyday life. That is something else.
Right.
And I think that's something that he has tapped into first with Watchmen and with how he's collaborated with Tom King and Moody on this show.
I can't wait to talk about a couple of scenes coming up at the ranch and then the interrogation, because he just handles this these social complexities so well and encodes and embeds. There's so much iconography that is embedded in here, so much modern social ills stuff. It's just, and yet it's superhero, right? We get to
superhero. Exactly.
It's so good. It's so good. All right. So what we need to do is take our first break. We're going to come back and then we're going to get into the scene by scene. But if you're undecided about this show, check out the first episode at least. This is Prestige TV. It's HBO, full HBO quality, not HBO Max. This is like straight up HBO quality. And if you want to see two really great actors playing off of each other, and you like a murder mystery and you like a buddy cop drama, procedural stuff, this has got all of that going on and so much more. So, all right. So let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll get into it. And we're back. And we're going to get into spoilers. We're going to get into our scene-by-scene breakdown. And we're going to start in 1996 with the opening. We have young Jon Stewart Jr. and his brothers watching a 60 Minutes interview with Hal Jordan, Earth's first Green Lantern. Jon Stewart Sr., the father, arrives home in military fatigues, and the kids weren't supposed to be watching TV. And he takes young Jon Jr. outside to a bullet-scarred wall. He sets an apple on Jon Jr.'s head and shoots it off without Jon flinching. And then they go and get some hamburgers. It's like normal. Like, what the hell? What did you make of this opening scene, Jean?
Like I said, it was riveting because the way that his father walked in and everything got silent, and it was dark, and it was just full of menacing sort of dread. Mm-hmm. Like you could feel it. Like these kids were like, "Oh shit, he's home" type of situation. And then he takes him
real
out.
Hard nose coming back.
Exactly. Yeah. Then takes him out. First he asked him what was his name, and he takes him outside and sets the apple on his head. And I'm like, what the hell in William Tell is happening here? What's going on? And then he takes out the gun and he asks the question, are you afraid? And young Jon is like, no. Boom. Gives him a hug and let's go get some burgers. Like, what type of childhood is that?
Right.
And I think sometimes we especially try to make men of our boys, right? Toughen them up for the world that they're about to encounter, especially young Black boys, because this world is not kind to you. And we have to make you prepared at an early age to deal with the shit that you're about to encounter. And I don't want you to be fearful about none of it, because you are not going to be afraid about none of them. And I watched that. I was like, fuck. Because this is something I think about when am I going to have to talk with my son?
Right.
When am I going to toughen him up?
Right.
Right. And it's always a thing, you know, I have other friends who have said, oh, you know, hey, what's going on with little man? I'm like, no, he's not a little man. But it's just what, you know, it's, no, he's still a little boy, still a child. But I know this world won't see him as a child soon enough.
Right.
And that's going to be something that we will have to deal with. And watching his father in that moment, I thought about how would I deal with this eventuality? Yeah.
Wow.
This is a superhero show.
Yeah, I didn't even pick up. That's really great. That insight. My daughter is going to be facing different challenges.
Yes.
And we don't have black skin. And so that's even a different set of challenge, right? There's a whole other different set there. And
but this is a superhero show, David.
Right.
It is a comic book show.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I was about to lead into, is that Lindelof buries this stuff in here in ways that that didn't even occur to me about having the talk with a black son in America in the 2020s. Right. But it's there. It's there in the first scene. It's there in the opening that we are having to deal with social construct, the stuff that we have that's embedded in our society. And he's not flinching from it. No, nor does John Jr. flinch from it.
No.
But Lindelof does not flinch. The camera does not flinch.
It doesn't. It doesn't give us a moment to even breathe, because you're riveted to what the hell's happening.
And you're like, wait a minute, how is this? What is this guy shooting a gun on? First of all, he's wearing a Marine, he's wearing camouflage, uniform with a belt. He kind of codes as military police, kind of an MP Sentry Guard type to me. That's the what I'm coding for off of reading the coding of his uniform. But it says U.S. Marines on his uniform jacket. I don't know why he's not checking in his service sidearm at base. Like, why is he bringing a gun home? What neighbor is not calling the police when they hear gunshots? Because there's multiple gunshots on that wall. Like you would mark your kid, stand them up against the wall and mark how high they are, every few months, every few years, right? And you have that history of your child on the wall. He has done this more than once. This is like a normal occurrence for him.
Right. That's
crazy. It's absolutely. Yes. And I am familiar with firearms. I have had firearms training that looked like a Beretta 92F to me. That was a standard military, sidearm that was adopted. It's a 9mm. It's a very accurate weapon. But I am sorry, the difference between your child's head and an apple, that's just insane to me. That is just insane that any parent would ever do that.
And that's the thing, right? Because
oh my God,
after he does it, you can feel like this man he's not doing it as a punishment.
No,
he's not doing it out of malice, right? And he hugs his son. He says, rubs his head like, yo, good shit. I'm happy, and let's go get burgers. And then he looks back at the garage door, like contemplating, like, yeah. And then we fade out from that scene and it's just like, wow, this is someone who feels like he's actually doing right by his kid.
Which is crazy that he's pointing a loaded gun at his
kid.
child. It's such a conflicting set of emotions.
So what does that do to the kid?
Right, exactly. But that's what was interesting too, is that later when we talk about this whole no fear thing, right? The ring, no fear. John Jr. has the no fear in him already. Because I think that's what the ring, I'm just guessing, like I don't know the ring, like you know the ring, but like you can't have fear in your bones. You have to be that kind of person where your nervous system is just like, nah, it's cool, man. It's in him, and his father's just grooming it in him. He's taking a natural talent and he's developing it like the Williams sisters' father did, or I think it was Tiger Woods' father did. I don't know. I'm pulling for sports analogies. Like,
golf, tennis. You know, we're going to prepare you for these worlds, and you're going to be the best at these things.
Yeah, you could be an actor, you could be a dancer, you could be. I see. We were out camping recently. I was watching this kid on his bike popping wheelies and doing all these jumps and stuff. I'm like, dang, and his father is coaching him and stuff like that. And like, so yeah, there's a natural talent there, and the parent sees it and is cultivating it. But it's so interesting because just prior to this, they were watching the first sit-down interview with Hal Jordan, Earth's first Green Lantern. Like nobody's actually interviewed him. And what's Hal Jordan talking about? Losing his father. And, once you've lost a parent, you as a kid don't have anything to fear anymore. Now we can quibble with that, but like that's a premise of the show and the character. So it's so interesting that they set this father-son construction up between these two, soon to be buddy cop partners. And I don't know, like when Hal says that to the camera, and he kind of, he's during the interview, he says, "Oh, well, my father died when he was 8 or whatever as a test pilot. I'm a test pilot too. And having lost my parents, there's no greater fear." Man, I don't know about you, but like as a parent, my greatest fear is the opposite, is losing my child, right?
Oh God, yes.
My first 2 years as a parent was just nerve wracking. I was
the first 2 years. I'm in year 10.
I'm chill. Maybe I'm better at like being chill, but like I used to have like
I got no
visions.
chill. I got no chill. I'm not gonna lie. I got no chill.
Because you still live in the city. I moved out, man. I'm chilled out now.
Look, Mom Donnie-san is different. Okay, let's just be clear about that. We're not going to take no slights to Mom Donnie-san.
I got to come back.
Bring your children. Your children will enjoy everything that Mom Donnie has to offer.
They're fixing up the playgrounds. They're getting everything straightened out.
A lot of y'all can't stay, but you can come visit.
Fair enough. But this whole thing too of parents and then later we get to set up for fear versus loneliness. Like I love that, and that gets all set up in this 2 or 3 minute scene. And then the suit thing, they set up the suit thing.
Yes. Yeah,
he's wearing the suit.
He's wearing the suit. Yep.
Later, he doesn't. Is there, and this whole thing is just a giant exposition, like I was saying before, just a really great exposition dump that moves everything forward. Is the Victoria Falls meteor anything important canonically speaking, or was that something that the show just threw in there?
Yeah, I got a flag. I got a flag that. Come back to you.
Okay. All right.
Because it didn't set off any alarms for me. So.
Okay. Got it. All right. So let's jump to 2016. We cut to adult John working out at the gym, and then he goes out to wait for Hal. And his training is like training day as a backup. So he's been training for 2 months now, apparently. Hal arrives late and hungover. We've got Boogie Shoes blasting out on the radio. As they drive through the desert hills, Hal continues to goad and needle John. Exasperated at John's politeness and unwillingness to be confrontational in return, Hal hands John the ring and tells him to meet at a taco stand up the road. And then he jumps out of the moving car as Get Down Tonight plays and the car goes off the road. And then we cut to the opening title graphic. Thoughts on this scene here? This opening setup.
This immediately sets them up as Just, I loved it. I loved the back and forth that they had in this moment. And you can see the tension between them. There's one ring. You know what I mean? You don't share the ring, really. It's one ring.
Right.
And the only way you get a ring is if the previous ring's owner has died.
Will Smith got his own suit and flashy thing and glasses, right? Like there were multiples of that.
Right.
In this world,
there's none of that. Right. There's one ring for you.
One lantern at a time.
To be told that you're training your replacement, right, in case something happens, in case that person is needed, that's a hell of a thing, because Hal knows if the only way he's going to get this is if I'm dead. What does that do?
And is that normal for Green Lanterns to have I think that's some of the tension in here.
in the comics, John Stewart, I want to say 1971 is the first appearance of John Stewart. And I guess we can talk about this now. The Guardians did come to Hal and say, we want to train someone to be sort of like a backup for you in case we need it. Not in case you're dead, but in case something happens and we need to have someone else take over the sector for a while you do whatever you need to do, or you need to heal or whatever. And they chose John Stewart. And that is how, in the comics, they come to know each other.
Interesting. So this is following canonical lines.
Yeah, much of the same setup here.
Okay. So a couple of things that I picked up here with adult John Stewart training, it shows us that he can fight, that he's physical, right? He's obviously a physically imposing kind of guy. This looks like maybe Los Angeles, and I don't know if it's supposed to be set in LA, but it certainly was the LA skyline and one of the LA bridges. I can't tell what kind of car was that. It's not a Cutlass. Was that an
I don't know if it was a Cutlass. I'm not sure if it was a Cutlass.
Was it the Starsky and Hutch car? I can't.
That's the thing that came to mind for me. And I don't even know what that car was.
That was a Gran Torino. But no, it's not a Gran Torino.
I'm not a car guy, people.
No.
I just want you guys to know I'm not a car guy.
I know when somebody writes in and tells us what that car is, we'll be like, oh, of course it's that car or whatever. But they do a really good job of covering it up of whatever it is. We learned that he was away for 2 weeks on Farron 4, which was a planet that was on the verge of a civil war, which is also interesting, right? There's a little something.
Yes.
Civil War, right? Tensions. We established that Stewart's been on the job training for just 2 months now, and that he was chosen, right? We established that the little blue guys chose him to be. So that's an interesting fact. And then we also get that Hal is kind of stuck in the past in some ways, because he's got Boogie Shoes and Get Down Tonight. Both of those are Casey and the Sunshine Band from their 1975 self-titled album. Boogie Shoes was a big hit after it appeared in Saturday Night Fever on the soundtrack in 77. And then I think it hit in the mid 30s on the Billboard 100. And Get Down Tonight, also a really big song, 1975. I'm just sort of scanning the notes. I think, it hit number 1 on the US Billboard Top 100. So both popular songs, but they're songs from the past. We hear other songs from the past. So then we have all of this tension between Hal and John, and Hal just keeps needling him and just being a jerk to him, trying to get a reaction to him.
But that's Hal. That's Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan in the comics is that. He is brash. He is cocky. He can be an ass. He is this guy, right? Who is he's so good at wielding the ring. right? He's just so skilled at it. And he has no problem letting you know that. You're not on my level. He's a wise guy. And he does, and that comes through in this scene.
No, sir.
How come it is every time you say sir, it sounds more and more like fuck you?
I have no idea, sir.
So good. So good. So snappy. So smart. And we learn about John, growing up with a military father, with discipline. We later learned that he was in the military as well. Hal was a test pilot, but he has been a Green Lantern for so long that whatever sort of order and discipline that might have surrounded him or cornerstoned his character has really washed away. And he's just a jerk. He's just a giant jerk to John the whole time, ultimately to the point of like, save your life or get out of the game when he bails out of the car. And there's nothing like self-preservation to kick in your instincts, right, in your training. And so, it was a jerk move, but it certainly was a good training scenario for John. I don't know. What did you make of the bubble wrap situation?
That's the whole point. You have to be able to snap your fingers with just a thought and make shit happen. And I think that is what, Hal is trying to show him. Like, you can be stoic, you can be by the book, you can do all of these things. That's great. But when you're out there in space dealing with shit, you have to be able to think quickly on your feet. All that other stuff is wonderful and you need it, but you also need the spontaneity, the ingenuity. You have to have it in order to wield this in the best possible way, because it's not by the book. And up to this moment, John is very much by the book.
Yeah. Yeah. And you could be on another planet where things work different. Bubble wrap might not have worked in that. So you need a life lived. And I think that's what's really interesting about Hal's character, as we learn, is at some point he's not a trained investigator where we'll talk about, let me put a pin in that. We'll talk about their character difference that come up later in the next scene, the next coming scenes. But there's very distinct differences between them and how they arrive at where they arrive. And I'm probably going to end up, there's a bunch of Men in Black references that just keep coming up into my mind in this. Because John does have natural talent, but he's also trained and developed those talents.
Yes.
Whereas Hal was a jet jockey, as a test jockey, right? And he was a wild, he was living on the edge. But how much did he actually train to be a beat cop for Sector 2814? Did I get the sector right?
Yeah.
Hopefully I got that right. Anything? Should we put a pin in Pharaoh 4, or is that
we could put a pin in? We could put a pin in it. Actually, we don't need to put a pin in. That's a wash. But I do want to say on that walk that John took after.
Oh, we're coming up to that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to come up to that real quick. So just as the car goes over the cliff and he grabs the ring, it's kind of a cold open. We get the Lanterns logo coming in, but the Lantern's color, if you go back and you watch that is distinctly not green.
Right.
That is a yellow with some green tint to it. It is not green. It is yellow. And I didn't know. I was like, why is that yellow when I was doing my second watch? But then you were talking, what is yellow is fear?
Yes.
In the color coding?
Yes.
So what are they doing with that? That's a mystery.
That's a mystery.
Do you have any, you don't have to say nothing, but do you have some theory? Do you have some theories cooking in your head, or are you?
No, I am totally, What did I tell you? I told you about adaptations, David. I told you about this. I am done trying to figure them out.
Right. Fair enough.
Because invariably, I get them wrong. so I am going to sit back and just watch the adaptation and see how they weave these things into the story that they're telling.
Right. You're going to let them tell the story.
And then I'll talk about it.
All right. Okay. So everybody put a pin in that.
I'm putting a pin in that. Yes. That's going to be important. Definitely.
For sure. All right. Next scene, hologram. John walks down the road towards the taco stand, furious. He calls his dad, who tells him to stay calm and the job is his if he keeps at it. The ring lights up and projects a hologram of a younger, more apologetic Hal, a backup of his own consciousness left by himself years ago, which is a real contrast to the version Hal John has been dealing with all day. The message from Hal to Hal, there's hail in Rushville, Nebraska. What did you make of the hologram? And this, you had something to say about this walk.
No, just when he calls his father, and his father's like, yo, you got to be cool because you can't be like them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You gotta be cool. You can't be like them. And that is being Black in America. This is the conversation that we had in Wonder Man.
Wow.
How
I remember that. Yeah.
Meant you had to suppress
you got to hold your rage.
Yourself. Hold your rage. Hold your anger. You can't let them see it because that's what's expected out of you.
And then that's used as an excuse to box you up.
To pass you up, to bypass you, to forget
or to lock you up
lock you up.
Yeah.
Right. So his dad is like very much by the book. You can't show that emotion.
Huh.
And he's, talking to the one person that he should be able to show that emotion to. Right. And that person doesn't want to hear it. So where does that go?
He gets it, though. I think his dad gets it, but he just is
no, his dad gets it. Yeah. His dad is like, you got to bottle that up right now. Right now. You got to bottle that up right now. But
I hear you. I'm here for you. I'm a safe person for you to share that with. But my advice to you is now, you've said your piece. Now lock it down.
And what happens when you can't keep it locked in anymore?
Right. It's metamorphic. We just learned we were on a thing. We were at a state park and that we went to a geology talk about rocks and stuff like that. And, you have different kinds of sedimentary, igneous, and metamorphic rock. And when you put that much pressure and heat together, the way that it melts what is otherwise immovable stuff and bends it and changes its chemical composition, you put that much pressure inside the human psychology, it's going to metamorphize your character.
Right.
And who you are in the world. If you just keep piling that pressure in and in and in, there's no release for it.
So we have both Marvel and DC shows, television shows, dealing with this sort of question.
Yeah.
About being Black in America.
So I thought it was interesting that not only is his dad in the know about his selection for the job, but that his dad is kind of like, yeah, this job is yours. You just got to hang. Like, he's being normal about it. He's being normal about the fact that his son is one in 7.5 billion people in 2016. And that his dad is just like, yeah, you're the next Green Lantern. What does his dad know? How is his dad involved in all of this? How has his dad knowingly prepared his son to be one of 7.5 billion people?
Because that's why he prepared his son to be exceptional.
It's extraordinary.
He prepared his son to meet this moment. And he didn't, at this point, we don't know that he knew this moment was coming, right? But he was preparing his son to meet this moment. That was the foremost thing. When it happens, they will not be able to deny you because you will be exceptional. Because you will be extraordinary.
Among the three sons that we saw on screen, assuming that those were his brothers, we only hear Marcus's name as one of the brothers. The other brother doesn't get named. So I don't know if Marcus is going to show up later, if they're going to do some more family story, backstory stuff. That's possible, right? But he sees in this particular son, John Jr., that he has the capacity to be this kind of exceptional. 1 in 7.5 billion.
Like I said, if he didn't know.
Right.
You're asking, how did he know?
Right.
How do we know he didn't know? From a very early age that this could be a possibility.
So this is just like, this is what the intrigue, as Alicia said, the way that they set up the intrigue built into the exposition. Like, it's fascinating. It is fascinating how well constructed this is. The dialogue, the dialogue between the father and son in this scene is incredible. And the acting by, I'm sorry, what's the Aaron Pierre's acting of being exasperated and frustrated and then locking it down when he gets the coaching from his dad. It's so good.
Yeah.
Aaron Pierre is so on point.
And he's walking on that dusty road. Sun is shining. It's hot.
It's hot. He's wearing pants in the hot weather, you know.
And they're telling you to bottle all that emotion up and just keep walking straight.
And just to go back really quick, the opening shot of this scene after the logo fades, we get these telephone poles and these winding hills and this curve. And I didn't even see it the first time. I had to watch it a couple of times. We see him come around the bend of this curve. I don't know how to explain how complex this shot is, how well it's lit, how beautifully it's set up, this kind of weird, I don't want to say forced perspective, but the perspective of the shot, it's so pretty, but it's so unassuming. Blink and you miss it, but it is so well put together. And then we jump to this great costume and makeup job to make Kyle Chandler look younger in the hologram version of himself. Yeah. We instantly know something's different about this guy, but it's the same guy, but something's wrong. Oh, the hair, it's less salt and pepper. He's he's more apologetic and friendly. And so suddenly we know, wait a minute, there's something different about this. And then we think about, oh, well, if this is a 10-year-old Hal Jordan, what the hell happened to Hal Jordan in the last 10 years to make him such a salty bastard? Right?
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, because I would much rather be trained by this hologram than I would the real deal.
So,
because even the hologram was like, "Oh, you don't know how to fly. He hasn't taught you that, huh?"
It was so funny. And then there Pierre just goes, he just looks over his shoulder like, where are we? Why are we out here in the middle of this freaking road? It was so good. The comic timing was so perfect. So is this canonical, this uploading weekly thing?
No.
Okay. So is this a show only thing?
I think this is a show only thing, just like Victoria, the Meteor is also a show only thing.
Okay. All right. And there's Hale in Rushville, Nebraska. Is Rushville a show only thing?
Yes. I think this entire setup is a show.
Okay.
Is a show construction.
Got it. That's interesting. Because then you also question, well, why isn't Hal doing backups if he's supposed to be doing this, if this is, in fact, the truth, why is he not doing backups? What does that say about his attitude towards, what's Green Lantern Central called? Does headquarters have a name beyond headquarters, or?
Planet Oa.
Planet Oa.
Yeah, Oa.
And the Guardians.
Just refer to as Oa.
Oa.
Yeah.
And the Guardians.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah. So what does that say about his attitude towards the Guardians and his, sort of command structure? So I think it's interesting. Like, that's an open question, I think.
It is an open question.
Right. All right, Hale in Rushville. At the taco stand, Hal works the crowd like a celebrity, and when fans ask about his suit, he explains that he only wears it on special occasions now. John reveals he survived the crash by making bubble wrap with the ring. Once John delivers the message, Hal drops the act, grabs the ring, tells John to pay the check, and flies off to Nebraska, leaving John to catch a regular flight. The second time today that Hal's left him behind. And we get No Fun by the Stooges playing as we cut to Nebraska. Thoughts on the taco stand?
No, it was so hilarious to see after John left him, after Hal left him, how John had to
just be pedestrian.
Yeah, man, just
a rental car.
Again, this is just like, this is a superhero, TV show where the hero can fly off in a moment's notice. But then we have this other character who's an integral part of the show and can't fly off and has to figure it out.
Yeah.
How do I get to where I need to get to? And what's the quickest way to get to where I need to get to since I can't fly?
And he's out there at that taco stand.
Yeah.
He got no car.
Nothing.
Right? Because the car's trashed.
Yes. I thought that was just wonderfully
the
hilarious.
CGI of the hypersonic too, that
when
was
great.
He hits,
that was great.
Boom. And it's just far enough and it's just up there and you're just like, God damn, right? He just took off.
Yeah. That was
so
great.
Good.
And I love that when the person at the restaurant asked him, why don't you wear the suit? He asked how. And he's like, when you start a job and you wear a tie every day trying to impress people. And this is where he's at. He's like, I've done it all. I don't need to wear the suit. Everybody knows who I am. Who am I trying to impress right now? And not only who am I trying to impress, but I'm here grooming my replacement.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that suit. You know what I'm saying? He's like, F that suit, man. I don't want to wear it anymore. Now, is that a reason that they've decided, when I say they, the Guardians have decided that he needs to train his eventual replacement because he's like, fuck that suit. I don't need it anymore.
Right. He's not doing procedure. He's not doing weekly backups like he's supposed to.
Right. So,
and we see
your question. What's happened to Hal?
Right. There's between the backup and now, again, brilliant exposition, right? Because we get exposition, we get world building set up and character development all in one in that hologram right there, that what's happened to him in these last 10 years, that he's become this salty bastard who's just flaunting the rules, and he's just who he is now. It's amazing. And then him leaving, right? Again, it parallels to when he left him out on the road, and then it left him, he went to Pharaon 4 without telling him anything. So like, this is a guy who will just leave you.
Yes. Leave you to figure it out. And, we'll get to it, but that's partly true and partly not. Right? Yes, he wants him to figure shit out, but he's also like, I gotta go do shit, and you're just gonna slow me down. Right. So I'll see you when I see you.
That's crazy. That's like, that's not,
How do you learn?
Really training your replacement that way.
Exactly.
The one thing that I thought was interesting, and with the whole suit and tie thing, was, and I will say, as a slightly older, mid-50s guy, I'm kind of in that middle ground between, I don't want to wear a tie anymore, but I still have some F's to give. I'm not completely over it, but I was like, oh yeah, the dialogue of that whole scene about, you don't need to wear a tie anymore because it's just stupid and uncomfortable or whatever. I'm like, oh, that is such truth. That is
Man,
just
if I
such
never
wisdom.
wear a tie again, I'll be the happiest camper in the world.
What do I have to prove no more?
F them ties. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but just that whole public persona, putting on, it was just such perfect wisdom. So,
right.
But he's at the same time, he is such a good sport at being a public celebrity.
Oh yeah.
With the kids and the people. He's got time for everybody's for selfies.
He loves it. He loves it. He's a people person in that way. Like, he loves the light. He loves to smile. He loves to be recognized, and he loves to, shower that back onto the public, the adoring public.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much with John.
Yeah, no. He was sort of the strong, silent type.
So I just think, how in this is what, the first 20 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
The first 20 minutes, they give us so much about who both of them are.
Yeah.
And you can't have two more diametrically opposed people trying to pull in the same direction.
And what's so interesting about John, who is doing the yes sir, no sir, strong stoic type bubble wrap, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's actually very funny and actually very inventive. And I think Hal takes note of that. I was like, that's a novel bubble wrap. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. It worked.
Not what I thought, not what I would have done. But given that I haven't really taught you anything.
It's not bad. It's not that bad.
But that's the first thing that came to his mind. So think about his mind, like wrapping himself up in bubble wrap. So
I love it.
The world can't hurt me.
Wait a minute. So the ring is actually a device to tell you about the character of the person who wields the ring.
Absolutely.
Like it's oh my God. I just thought it was some stupid magic. I just thought it was some stupid magic ring that had green power. But from a storytelling device, it's a plot. It's a device that tells you about the character of the person who's dude.
Which is why I think it's one of the greatest inventions in comic book.
It's better than the Infinity Stones.
Yeah,
all right, well, I'm throwing fire now.
I don't
want to get in trouble.
It's different.
It's different.
It's different from the Infinity Stones.
And I gotta be careful there.
The reason why I say it's different is you are limited. The Infinity Stones are unlimiting power. The ring is still limited. Like, it can't do the things, anything that you can think of. Yes, you can construct, but it can't change reality in that way.
Right.
So it's still a very grounded thing within the universe because there are limits. It's a reactionary
thing. You're reacting.
There are limits, right? Yeah. There are limits to what it can do. But it tells you about the person.
That's amazing.
Because if I'm wielding the ring and all I can think about is making guns and missiles and, swords and all manner of weaponry.
Yeah.
What does that tell you about this person that's holding this ring? But if I can make counterfeit money or
bubble wrap,
what does that tell you about what that person is thinking and feeling in the moments that really matter?
Right, because there's and that's what was so interesting and instructive about the car crash scene is no time to think, react. You can't puzzle it out in your mind.
Nope.
You need to. This is survival in an instant.
Right. And the first thing that he thought of was bubble wrap.
In a oh man,
yeah.
In a hard and harsh world that's not fair, that's beyond your circumstances to control. And what does this little boy do? Because like we're all just 4, 5, 6-year-olds internally, emotionally, right? We that's just us inside. We just have lots and lots of layers to manage and to mitigate all of the stuff that's going on inside of us. But what is that child inside want? He just wants to be protected in something that's bouncy and soft and kind of fun in a way, right? Like I see those big bubble balls that people have. Was that?
And that keeps me safe.
Yeah.
Nothing can get inside of this.
Damn. All right, we should move on to the next scene. Just real quick, the song that we go out on and that carries us over into Nebraska is "No Fun" by the Stooges. It feels like they're going to be pulling a lot of needle drops in this, so I'm going to be calling out the needle drops as we go along. The Stooges are an American rock band. The song was released in August of '69. It is considered a proto-punk release. The album peaked pretty high. And then it looks like this is like the album was ranked number 488 on the Rolling Stones 500 greatest albums of all time.
Oh, wow.
So this is a pretty big song for an album and band, which I don't think I'm curious as to how many people have actually know the Stooges. I don't know the Stooges. Like being a child of growing up in the shadow of this era of radio, you and I both listening to the radio in the 70s and the 80s. I mean, I know this song, but I didn't know the Stooges in this way. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know the Stooges as a child. So
yeah. Cool. All right. Stay the F off the field. John arrives in Nebraska 6 hours behind Hal, who's already sitting in the bleachers at the scene, the same seat that we'll see him at the end. 4 people are dead on a high school football field, all in visitor sweatshirts. And Sheriff Kerry Kane wants both Hal and John gone, since the Lanterns only have jurisdiction over extraterrestrial events. Hal insists the victims are aliens, just on his hunch, and Kerry reluctantly lets them stay, telling them to keep off the field and away from the news vans. John reconstructs the scene as a rival game gone wrong, reading the sign. He kind of does a Sherlock on it. And then when he flags the bystander in the short sleeve shirt acting weird, the guy runs, and John uses his knowledge of the school, because I think he grew up in a small town like this. That's the way I read it anyway. He's able to cut off the guy, and they cuff him, and that is our chief suspect. Thoughts on this scene especially where we meet the sheriff, who's going to be a primary character in our story?
Yeah, I thought it set up a nice little, conundrum, because who has jurisdiction? And Hal was like, yo, I know this is an alien, but can you really stop me if I wanted to go down on the field? You just feel it. You know what I mean? He's just sitting there like ho-hum. Like if he wanted to, he could have just marched down onto the field, but he's respecting these Earth rules where he is trying to impose and really adhere to, universal galactic rules. You know what I'm saying? So it's really, for him, particularly as a hero, it's always a problem on Earth, because he is exposed to so much more than everyone else is, because everyone else is Earth-based. He has to deal with things and has seen things that no other person on Earth has had to encounter.
Right.
And that forms and informs how he is with other people. So he can be short with someone, but that's because you're thinking in terms of planetary. I'm thinking in terms of galactic. You know, I'm thinking in terms of not even this galaxy. I'm talking about the galaxies, 3, 4, 500 light years away from us. That's the shit I have to deal with. So he's sitting there in this small town on the bleachers, and it's just like, let me do what I know I can do. And the sheriff is just like trying to say, no, I have to adhere to this standard. And this standard is that you are only responsible for extraterrestrial things.
And until so proven,
stay out of my way. You don't have jurisdiction.
Which is the way that you put that even makes the court scene coming up even more funny.
Yes.
She's like, what agency? He's like, Green Lantern Agency? So good.
It's like, what do you mean, agency?
The thing with John too, it's interesting. So we learn a lot more about John in this whole scene, like assuming that it was Los Angeles to Nebraska in 6 hours. That's pretty good time. He got on the flights and got the rental cars and drove and figured out, like, he had to get from the taco stand back to LAX and fly. Like that's a lot. But then he does sort of a Sherlock thing, and he, puts together from the very beginning. He's driving through town. The streets are a little bit empty. He sees the sodium lights. He can hear the sirens off in the distance. And then he breaks down the whole scene. Oh, the kicking block is still out there, the fence, the scorecard, seeing the jersey of the guy who pulled it off. Like, so we see that he actually has methodical detective skills that are trained observational skills, the training to take a bunch of random facts and pull them all together, where Hal Jordan's just like, I don't know, I got a gut feeling. Right? I don't know. This is just weird to me. And so again, we see the differences between these two characters. And then we get the third character of the sheriff, right? Carrie
McDonald.
Carrie Kane, played by Kelly MacDonald.
Kelly MacDonald, sorry.
So good in this. She's so awesome with her big hat and her drawl and everything. I'm just loving all of this. And she's super salty as well, which is even more funny.
Yeah, so, I just, I think this scene also shows how quickly John processes things.
Yes.
Right? Not just with the detective work, but also with the chase scene.
Yep.
Because I didn't read it as he grew up in a small town, so he knows. Like, I read it like he kind of looked at the doors and figured out which way to be able to go that would get me ahead of this person. Right.
That's what they want us to know. I had cannoned that. Oh, well, maybe he grew up in a high school that's not dissimilar to this.
Okay.
So he's using his background experience.
You're right. And so I really like that they showed, and again, it's the contrast between the two of them, like you mentioned. One, Hal Jordan, this is my gut. And one, Jon Stewart, is sciencing the shit out.
Right, exactly. It's a very sort of Watson Sherlock-y, maybe not a 1-for-1, but just this idea.
Yeah.
And then to embed all of this into a really, pardon my French, but fucked up, all too common occurrence in the United States of a mass shooting event at a social gathering of some kind.
Right.
And at one of our schools, right? So again, that fear of all of us as what parents. But then to embed this story again into that, right? Into all of the other things that Lindelof is core sampling our modern day society,
right?
And taking all of these cross-cutting issues And then to embed it into that, and then that it's just sort of like, it was just kind of ho-hum. Oh, there's still, why are they processing the scene with victims whose bodies are still on the field and the high school cheerleaders and football players are still just wandering around, right? Okay, yeah, they're interviewing people, but everybody's just so freaking ho-hum about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And not just because they don't recognize any of these people.
Right.
Just because of the environment that they happen to be living in.
Yeah. So just, again, just perfect sort of Lindeloffian, I guess, if we can say it that way, constructions.
Right.
I thought it was interesting, too, when John and Hal, they kind of have a little face-off for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And what came to my mind was like, oh, these are two men, neither of which has fear. One of them's got a ring of, mass destruction, on his finger, but neither of them have fear. So what is it when two guys like this square off from each other?
Who gives?
Exactly.
Right? Who gives? Who flinches first?
Yeah.
And if not flinch, who's the first to say, okay, let's try to make this the best possible world that we can make it between the two of us.
Yeah.
Let's come to an understanding instead of butting heads always. Who's going to be the first to do that?
And Hal is, he's so salty and rude. And until later do we actually it's not until after the end of the ranch scene do we see on Hal's face or in his reaction a modicum of respect for John.
Right.
He breaks down the scene. He he screws up, rookie move, right, and blows the suspect, but he makes good on it. The bubble wrap, all of that. There's lots of things he gets to Nebraska in 6 hours. There's lots of things to laud John's character, but he never gives him any praise until he admits that he slept with Zoe, Will's wife. Right? You're like,
I'm impressed.
What does that say?
He's not even here 24 hours.
So good. And then again, we learned too about the sheriff and how, she's salty, but she's also smart. She goes, yeah, I clocked that guy. I got the situation under control and you screwed up.
Exactly.
I may be a small town sheriff, but I'm not dumb. Unlike you guys. All right. Brand new key. At the bar, Hal manifests some cash with the ring to buy rounds. Well, to be able to play brand new key on repeat until the locals fight him, getting himself deliberately arrested so that he can share a cell with Sanders, the suspect. Between rounds, he tells John that the ring is a dangerous weapon and knowing when to use it is the whole ball game. And then he also explains how Abin Sur gave him the ring after crashing into Earth years ago. While Hal starts a fight, John talks to a woman at the bar, telling her that he's Earth's backup lantern. They leave together, have sex in the parking lot, and he lights her cigarette with the ring. She is later revealed as Zoe Macon, Will's wife. Thoughts on the bar scene overall? This, the scenes just kept getting better and better. And I was thinking, is the ranch scene my favorite scene, or is it the interrogation is my favorite scene? But now I'm thinking this scene's pretty good too. I don't know where to fit this in. There was just some brilliant character moments in this.
Yeah. And to what you said at the beginning was that you don't have to know the story in order to get into this show, because here is where he explains to you how he came about to have this ring.
So good.
Right. So for people who don't know the lore, who don't know the history, it's here. And it's not done in a way to say, hey, here it is. It's done in a way that they're just having a conversation. And he really wants, and I say John really wants to know. And Hal is not going to lie to him.
Yeah. Because there's going to be detail. He knows the mythology,
right.
But the mythology isn't the truth.
Right. And Hal is not going to lie to him.
Right.
And he tells him, you know, the first thing this lady asked me, are you afraid? And I said, no. And boop, that was it. That was the start to my journey. And what did John's father ask him?
Right. Perfect.
Are you afraid?
Right.
No. Boop. And we cut away. So you can see the differences, but you also can see the symmetry between these two characters, between these two Green Lanterns.
Right.
So well done right here.
And I love this contrast that Hal says, you know, this ring is a dangerous weapon. You know, the ability to discern when to use it and when not to use it, that's the whole ball game. It's a test of character. Are you somebody who can wield this thing? Because it is your will. The expanse of your will is the expanse of the ring. And to be able to have restraint and to not use it is as important as when to use it. And so to make counterfeit money to play Brand New Key by Melody, which is just a hilarious song about roller skating over and over again. And you know it's the same song. Like if you hear, like I picked this up on my second watch, when he's punching the numbers, there's a rhythm to it. Chung, 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 chung. And you're like, and then he goes, howdy, fellas. Why the hell is he saying hi to the locals in that way? And then the song, it is so, the scene is so well built. It is so well built. And then he's like, oh, I'm going to get my ass kicked. I don't want you to get up. Okay.
I'm not.
He's just like, he's like, looks at him like, oh, that was pretty quick answer there, my guy.
Yeah, you just made me take a plane, a train, an automobile, a locomotive. I'm everywhere, a boat, a ship to reach over here. And you think I'm going to save you? No. That's your plan? Okay, get your ass kicked. I'm cool with it.
It's so funny. It was so funny. He's just like, okay. And then he looks at him like, damn, that's gold. You're not even going to like pretend to, no, all right,
to
fine.
Care.
It's another shot.
No.
Oh my God.
Good. That's so good.
And then when Zoe says like, oh, are you going to say yes to the ring like that? That was so funny as well.
Right. But he doesn't put it on then.
No.
Notice he didn't put it on. He didn't put it on.
That's very good. But she calls it, what's interesting is that she calls him out.
Yes.
And says, you're not patient.
Yeah.
You're not a person who has patience.
Yeah.
Which, like, okay, I'm drinking Coke and Coke. I'm on the job, but I'm going to go out to the truck and have a little parking lot, two-step. That's, you might as well have been drinking, having a couple of shots, right? Because that's just as bad a transgression as, say, having a drink at the bar while you're quote unquote on duty.
Yeah.
But it's so good. It's like the whole thing. And then using the ring as a cigarette lighter. That was just awesome. I think that's my favorite visual gag of the whole show.
But again, I like how she makes John question his beliefs about who John is, who Hal is.
Mm.
Like you think you figured Hal out because you see the world in such a particular way. It's been ingrained in you to see it this way. And you see anyone who deviates from this straight line that you walk as somehow not worthy. Right? Because he doesn't believe Hal is worthy of holding the ring.
Right. No, he doesn't. He questions like, well, maybe there should be some. He doesn't say this specifically. This is me paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But it's really he's saying there should be like some tests before you just give somebody this ring.
Right. And you know, that's not the test. The test is one for a Green Lantern. Do you have fear? Because fear can break your will. And a Green Lantern is only as strong as their will. And if your will can be shattered, you are not going to last as a Green Lantern.
That's so interesting because fear is such an integral part of the human psychological makeup. It's such a necessary part of who we are. It plays such an important role in our survival as a species. Oh, that thing's got big claws. We should be afraid of it.
And I think we'll see later on in the series why that question is asked of Green Lanterns. Why do the Guardians look for people who have no fear?
Because
why is that important?
I can imagine that the things that they have to face are so mind-shatteringly awesome. I'm not using awesome in the surfer, cool dude, big wave way, but awesome in the sense of mind-shatteringly big.
I'll put a pin in it, but I'll just remind you, electromagnetic spectrum of emotion.
Okay.
All of these things can be channeled.
And we have let's not talk about the trailer talk, but if anybody's watched the trailer, they are dropping hints about some stuff that's coming.
Yes.
That there are we have not met all of our cast of characters yet.
No.
And we're about to, this show at some point there's going to be an inflection point and we're going to go big.
Yes.
Speaking of big, let's break down to small. Everyone's related in a small town. The next morning, Sheriff Carey tells John that he can't take Hal home until he's arraigned, which I think is hilarious. In court, Hal fumbles explaining which law enforcement agency he represents, and local lawyer Billy McCon shows up late, gets hired as his defense on the spot, and who turns out to be Carey's husband. The judge sets bails, doubling it each time that Hal talks back, and warns him not to leave town. Kind of tough for somebody who can fly and might be called off to some other part of the galaxy. Billy invites them to dinner at his father's ranch that night. What did you make of this scene? It was a pretty short scene, but
just the judge is like, make sure you don't leave town. Like
dude, he's a Green Lantern.
He's a Green Lantern.
He's gonna jump bail in like 2 seconds.
There are things that again supersede this court hearing that I'm gonna have to leave town if I need to. Right? So this whole battle between, what we on Earth are trying to hold people who are so powerful accountable, because that's what this is, right?
Right.
This is trying to hold this Green Lantern to account. But how does Hal even look at them and take them seriously, given what he's gone through?
Right.
Given the things that he's experienced. And I think, again, I mentioned it earlier, that is always the rub with Hal Jordan. Always.
Right. Turns out that the William McCon, who's the husband of the sheriff, is played by actor Jason Ritter, who is the son of John Ritter.
Yeah.
Oh. If some of us remember Three's Company, but a famous TV actor of his day. Let's move forward to the ranch scene, which I like to call AR-15 shooting ducks. John and Hal arrive at the ranch. Two armed men running drills. We see these same gates again at the end. Inside, they meet Will, the caretaker, who's made tofu steaks for vegan John, but won't name who he actually works for due to an NDA. Hal guesses Will's bracing for a militia raid by the feds. Will waves that off, admitting that his real fear is aliens, and offers Hal access to the suspect in exchange for something he won't specify. Outside, John teaches Noah to throw a football. Don't aim, just imagine it going through. Noah calls out, "Grandma!" And the woman from the bar walks up, revealing that it's Zoe Macon, Will's wife. And as they leave that evening, we learn that Will knows that John knows that who Zoe is. And finally, Hal seems to have some respect for John. This is, like I said, I was struggling. Is this my favorite scene in this or not? Because Lindelof is really using this iconography of militia stuff very smartly. Yes. Big ranch, bunch of white dudes on horses with tactical gear and, very well trained. And then he's like, he doesn't treat Will as this, early. I love shows too that introduces to the bad guy early on and introduces to like, oh, we're going to have to fight these guys later. Like this is going to be a thing, right? These guys this is an initial set of bad guys that we're going to have to chew through. And we meet this guy, Will, and it turns, he's not rude to John being a vegan, being a black man, but he's xenophobic and he's worried about aliens. And so this is this inversion thing that Lindelof, is it inversion? I don't know what this thing that Lindelof does where he's making us face racism and xenophobia, but in the guise of a alien superhero show rather than, oh no, this isn't some wackadoo fight with the feds. This is about extraterrestrial aliens colonizing our planet.
Right.
And they just lay it out so straightforwardly, and they make Will such just a straightforward guy. I was like, oh, this is freaking brilliant.
But he's so passive aggressive in this scene.
Oh, so much so.
He is so passive aggressive in this scene. The way he's chopping up the ribs.
Yep.
The way he's sizing up John. Oh, so you're a military sniper. You're a Marine sniper.
Mm-hmm.
The way he says, oh, I heard that you're a vegan. I got some tofu steaks for you. Don't mind. Off my grill, whatever he said. And it's just like, it's so, all of it is so aggressively passive. And I'm watching it and I'm just like, he tells them, when I forgot if it was Hal or if it was John who says, you seem to know a lot about me. And then he says, yeah, but you walked in here not knowing nothing about me.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's like stunned, and Will is stunned by the fact that they didn't do any even preliminary lookup of him.
Right.
And that's what I love about Will's character. He's smart. He's playing it straight. He's a great bad guy. And I got a little audio clip. I just love the way that he just turns everything on a dime, because Lindelof sets us up. Oh, these guys are going to be like xenophobic, racist, and John's going to be in big trouble here. But no.
The government, I'm guessing the government, they're probably watching your boss biding their time before they raid this compound, take his guns and rights away.
You think we bailed you out so we could enlist you in some wackadoo war with the feds?
Well, why else would you bail me out?
Well, because of the goddamn aliens, son. Why the fuck else?
He just lays it out so straightforwardly. It's brilliant. Like, there's no ambiguity about what this part of the mystery is all about. And he's just like, hey, Do you want access? We have an aligned purpose at this point, and I'm going to get you access because it serves my needs. And I'm not going to be coy about it. I'm not going to F around about it. I know you slept with my wife. That's what it is, what it is. Like, I love a smart bad guy.
Right.
Like this. I don't, the two-dimensional mustache twirling is like boring. Like, this guy is interesting. This guy gives me the creeps. This guy chills me because he's so good and he's so smart. And he's like, I'm not going to, why would I waste a bunch of time lying to a Green Lantern guy? Let's just deal with the matter of fact right now. There are aliens invading the Earth and I'm worried about it and you can do something about it. So how are we going to, how are you and I going to work this out?
Yeah, that's the thing. Do you work it out?
Yeah.
Do you work it out? If you work it out? Hal and John.
Yeah.
How much can you trust this person? Right? How much can you trust them? And that's a line, that's what they're going to have to figure out over the course of the next episodes.
But Hal calls it out. And here's another little audio clip I have from this.
Militia.
Walks like a duck, shoots an AR-15 like a duck, blah, 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 duck.
Blah, 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 duck, right? He calls it out because these guys are just, doesn't matter if it's a wackadoo fight with the feds or not, they're still AR-15 shooting ducks.
Right. Right. And he wants
love it.
John to not lose sight of that.
Right. And the scale, it's a question of scale. It's not a question of are these, what are these guys pointing their ARs at? It's a question of scale.
Right.
You started to say something.
No, because, sometimes people of a certain background can find common ground.
Mm.
Right. So I think in this moment, he's trying to let John know, like, you got to be able to see through all the bullshit.
That's a really good point. Don't get caught up by the front.
Don't get caught up.
Yeah.
Not to say that John at this moment is caught up, but this is Hal's way of ensuring that he doesn't get caught up.
Right. And it goes into the experience question. Hal has a lot of experience. He may not have, seems like John has some kind of training in some other ways. Hal doesn't. He just got picked up, got carried by a green bubble and just like, he's had to figure out this stuff on his own in a lot of ways.
Training, and we can at this point know that his father trained him, and we know that the military trained him.
Right. And
so
what
he
else?
Does have that.
And it seems like he's got deduction skills.
Yes.
Right. And those feel trained to me in the way that he's displaying them. I love that the sheriff is like, look, my father-in-law's got paper on you. So, right, there's even a guy above Will, right? There's some other bigger lad that we don't see yet. And she's like, you should just fly the fuck away from here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you say that to a man who has no fear.
No fear. And that's the whole job description.
And he just waltzes in with a six-pack under his arm. Right?
So I'm watching
multi-million-dollar ranch, and he just rolls up with a six-pack of bud under his arm.
And shout out to my one of my niece's partners, Jimmy, who stayed up with me last night to watch the show.
Uh-huh.
And he mentioned like the relationship between Will and the sheriff was not coded as happily married.
Right.
It was much more of soon to be exes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hal says to her, well, it seems like they got something on you too.
Oh, I missed that.
And he peeped it. Like he saw that.
Yeah.
He saw the tension.
What is the sheriff doing hanging out with this militia?
Yes. So he saw that.
Nice.
Right. And that's, little things like that they're doing
Jimmy.
in the show.
Yeah. So that opens up a question of how is Noah going to fit into the story, to the son?
Mm-mm.
And I thought, at least from a character beat moment, the way that John was helping Noah, right? He's doing the dad thing, right? Oh, my dad, so I'm going to do this as well. But I thought the advice that he gives Noah about don't aim, just I thought I had it quoted, but I don't have the text. He's basically just saying, right, just imagine the ball going through the thing. Don't think about it. Don't aim for it. Guess what? That's the advice that John needs himself for using the ring.
Exactly.
Right. So how else is Noah going to factor into the story? I have no idea, but at least in that moment from a character beat standpoint, it was clear what that was about. Anything else on this scene, or should we roll forward?
Yeah, let's move forward, because this is getting to where I want to be.
Right on. So just a flag, as they pull up to the entrance of the ranch, we see the entrance of the ranch, in 2026, right at the end, right? So we see the ruins as he drives by.
Yes.
So
yes.
Just to flag that. And then also, we are. I guess we already talked about it, but there's just how impressed Hal is with John that less than 24 hours. Anyway, I still think that's it's hilarious. The plural of eat shit. In the interrogation room, Hal quizzes Sanders on Nebraska football, then trips him up with a question about Harry Potter and calls him out. No medical test can catch what he is, only cultural fluency can. Watching through the glass, Carrie asks John why he respects Hal. He says because Hal is fearless. And Carrie corrects him. Hal isn't fearless. He's lonely. Sanders drops his cover, hinting at a hidden weapon and asking if Hal has enough energy in his ring to contain an explosion, which is proof that the aliens know exactly how the ring works. Hal asks why he's really here. Sanders says vengeance, starts beeping. Hal bubbles him up in an instant before he detonates and says, I told you he was an alien after the explosion. This scene was also just extraordinary. The dialogue, the acting of the guy who's the alien, it was so good. Just the way he was thinking, you could see he's I'm trying to remember some facts. 44th president, followed George. It was so good. So
that
funny.
That was so great. He said, 44th president?
Some problems with his birth certificate?
You need to tell me. Barack Hussein Obama.
They used the whole word, the whole name.
And you're from rural Nebraska? And that's the breadth of your knowledge on Barack Hussein Obama? You really are an alien. I said, goddamn. This motherfucker here.
Lindelof, man.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah. Like, you are not racist? What? That's how I know. That's how I know you're not from this planet. Look where you at.
They only made 22 Harry Potter movies. So good.
Look at where you're at, bro. Look at where you set up shop.
Did you?
And you're telling me that you're not racist?
Did you also catch the phone home line?
Yes, I caught the phone home line. I know you just want to phone home, right? I mean, you just want to go home. I know. And hit him with the ET. I said, yo.
There's lots of, I bet if we did a line by line script read, of this, there would be all kinds of little winks and nods to all kinds of stuff. There was the jurisdiction line, which reminded me of the Matrix, the juris my diction crap line as well. I'm sure there's tons of little stuff, little cultural gems scattered throughout.
Just really amazing. And again, it just shows that Hal is really skilled at the things that he does. And you may not like how he talks. You may not like his attitude. You may not like his, cockiness. But at the end of the day, he's fucking skillful at what he does. And it was great to see John see that in that moment, because as he's sitting there behind the glass, he's starting to pick up on what he's doing before the sheriff does. He's watching the maneuvering that Hal is doing. And there's a look on his face like, oh, I think he's onto something, which is huge up to this point, because up to this point, there's absolutely zero things that John believes that Hal has done right or is capable of doing right.
Right. That's interesting. And all the while, we're setting up rules for the world. 14 alien species that can evade detection. The ring needs to be charged in, every 48 hours.
Where's your lantern?
Yeah. Where, that the aliens know how the ring works.
Even gives them the motto. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. The motto. He breaks down the motto.
And you see Hal. And you see
furious.
Hal. Like, don't do it. Don't. So there are things that he takes seriously. This motto is one of those things. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware of my power. Green Lantern's light. That's the shit that Hal takes seriously.
Wow.
That right there.
And he can be lonely and salty and get drunk and be late and disappear for 2 weeks. But at the end of the day, this guy's character is
that
Green Lantern's light.
That is who Hal Jordan is.
So when we get the final scene of him sitting frozen on the bench with a single bullet wound in his head, Hal Jordan, the world's first Green Lantern, like that is like that he contains the dude's explosion. Does he have enough power left in his ring? Does Hal Jordan even know? Does he even have a sense? Like, oh, the bottle opener, the dollar bill, like what else? How much have I expended? Do I have enough to keep it? He even jumps on the bubble to shield the sheriff and John a little bit more from maybe some of the debris, absorb some of the Dude. This episode was so tight. It is so tightly plotted and bound and written, and it's crazy.
Yeah. And then we get, like you said, to that final shot of him murdered, frozen.
Doesn't look self-inflicted.
Doesn't look.
That's not where you. That's not a place.
And
the exit
John reaches
wounds,
down.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
John reaches down, touches his hand, brushes the snow away. There's no ring on John's finger. There's no ring on Hal's finger.
Where's the ring?
Another mystery to be solved.
And that's in 2026.
Yes.
And back where it started.
Another mystery to be solved.
Sitting in the bleachers, the same fields, right?
You got the original mystery that we start off with. The alien murders. Right? We got the mystery of why the aliens are here. What do they want? Are they looking for something? Are they looking for someone? And we already got half the answer because Sanders says I'm here for vengeance.
Vengeance. Why else? What other reason is there?
What other
vengeance? Such a great line delivery too. Like, why else? Vengeance. So good.
Third, Hal's murder.
Yep.
Fourth, the ring thief.
You got to throw in the militia though too. Is like what the militia fits in there as well. Like,
yes,
because there's a guy we haven't even met yet who's running the militia.
Bankrolling them.
Yeah.
And this is the first episode.
Is this a perfect Lorehound show? I don't know. This feels
I gotta say yes.
There's a lot of perfect lore. I'm not being exclusionary here. I'm being inclusionary. This fits within the Venn diagram of like what makes a good Lorehound show.
Yes.
Oh man. All right. Well, let's see. Oh, one other couple of quick notes. We saw in this previous scene with Noah that John has a notebook. He's like when he's walking up to Noah throwing the football, he's got a little notebook, what is this, a moleskin style notebook in his hand, and then we see him sketching in the interrogation room. So like, what's that about? Just an interesting note.
I mean, there's part of Jon Stewart. He is former military, but he also becomes an architect.
Okay. Well, we're not going to go. Yeah. Just leave that there. Just leave that there. So there's something going on there, which is interesting. Loved the way that they set up that scene too in the interrogation with the reflections in the windows and seeing a beautiful, beautiful construction. And then we have this whole question about caring for people having no fear versus being lonely. Like, what does Hal have to fear if he's not connected to anything? Like, all of that's great stuff. And then the reverse pan up to the sky as we leave the police station, and then we look up, and suddenly this very small world, and they make a point of it. Hey, we're in a small town. Everybody's related. I'd take offense to that if it weren't true. Hilarious line. But suddenly we pan up, and the show at some point is going to go wide.
Yeah.
Because there's a much bigger world out there. The ending song is Knievel by the Scud Mountain Boys. And I looked up the lyrics here which I think are really interesting. I think they depict a really interesting song. If I tried to leap the moon, would you ever care? Would you ever care? And if I left the earth too soon, would you ever dare? Would you ever dare? It didn't take much living to see that I was bound to leave the ground. It didn't take much living to see that I'm only free when I'm flying. If I tried to make my mark flying through the park, would you ever dare? If I fucked up every start. There's just so much coding in there of like where these characters can go, and Hal, and how he's feeling about his life, and John and the trajectory of his life. This thing of flying and the moon. It's just a beautiful little way to end that scene and to pan back away from the football stadium.
Yep.
And then, but like, it's a satisfying episode, but then like, we're so hung up on everything else. So many mysteries to solve. All right. I think that's it. Anything else?
No, just great first episode. Just awesome. I'm really excited about this show. And,
I remember the trailer at the beginning of the year. We were like, "Oh!" I was sus. I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, I was always excited.
Well, we've been burned
Alicia
before.
Alicia and I both.
Right.
So the triumvirate, 2/3 of the triumvirate was that watched that show that we should never ever talk about.
Nope.
We were really excited about this one. You were skeptical,
just based on that trailer. So.
Yeah, but then it came back because you saw the other trailer before the release of the show. and you got on board. And I'm glad you got on board.
I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Yeah.
We're rolling. We're just going to keep on picking up from House of the Dragon season 3.
Yeah, just keep.
We got a wrap up podcast later this week coming. Silo is still coming out. So join Alicia and Luke on that. We've got some X-Men 97 season 2 coverage coming.
Go listen
up.
to the Spider-Man brand new day coverage that we just did. The pod is out. Go listen to it.
Supergirl is out as well, I believe.
Hey, go listen to that too.
We've got I gotta work up, now that summer vacation's like more or less done and we're settled all back, I need to hook up with Ron from Dungeons and Durag because I know he wants to talk about the bear and I want to put that one to bed. That was a great final season. And there's a few other things kicking around that we need to clean up from the summer. And then I think we've got some exciting stuff coming up later in the fall. Let me just get the show tracker open really quick. Ted Lasso definitely is cooking. And I think John and I might do a What You Watching, which is a subscriber only thing. And then we might do a mid-season check-in. If you're into Star Trek Strange New Worlds, go check out our friends Ian and Danae over at the Captain's Pod. They are covering that as well. Later in the year, it looks like we have Vision Quest coming up. So keep an eye on that. We obviously have Rings of Power Season 3 scheduled and Blade Runner 2099, which looks really interesting. I'm kind of excited for that. I guess we got news on Ahsoka Season 2. That's going to be next year, first thing next year.
January of next year.
Right, D23. Dune Prophecy, we still don't know, but we'll definitely have some Dune 2 or Dune 3 movie coverage once
that got moved up to December 14th.
Which did?
Dune.
Oh, so we got a date for Dune?
December 14th.
Okay, got it. So we will have that out as well. I know Nate, who, if you're on the Discord, you probably saw a lot of his comments about House of the Dragon 3. I know he wants to talk about Godzilla -0, which I would be down for that as well on the movie front. What else do we got? And then, of course, Avengers Doomsday is coming down the pipe as well. So still a lot going on this year. It's been a busy year, and it will not end anytime soon. Let's get out of here by giving a quick shout out to our community volunteers. Hand of the pod, Nancy. Nancy, thank you so much for all your help with House of the Dragon. We could not have done all that feedback wrangling without you.
It would have been impossible. Thank you.
Captain of the Polherum, Peter O.H., Keeper of the Show Tracker, Sub-Zero, Librarian, Brian 8063, and Discord moderators, Brian 8063 and Aaron K. Our Discord server boosters, Aaron K., Tiller the Thriller, Duve71, Athena Ajalea, Lestu, Nancy M., Ghost of Perdition, Radioactive, Richard, and Adrian. And of course, our lore masters, our top tier subscribers. We literally could not continue to do what we do with the Lorehounds community without you and without all of our subscribers. So if you're interested in having your name added to these hallowed halls, then check out a subscription option. It's really not that much. I mean, the value for what you get for what you pay, it's pretty good. And we make sure that everyone gets their fair shake, as well as paying all of our bills, because it is not free to produce quality podcasts. So Samartian, Michael G, Michelle E, SC, Peter OH, Nancy M, Duve71, Brian 8063, Frederick H, Sarah L, Gareth C, Andra B, Kwang Yu, Nathan T, Sub-Zero, Aaron K, Dally V, Gnarls, Kathy W, Lestu, Jeffrey B, Elisa U, Ben B, Scott F, Stephen N, Julia F, Kali S, Ilmariel, Rocky Zim, Jessica A, Red Zippy, the TCS, LNR, Mrs. Tennant, AC Wilson, Eli W, Cassie K, Chumba Rooney, Katilla, Josh Liu, Paint in PDX, Corey G, Quinch, Jeannie L, Slobinator, and Adrian, who shall always be last, but is always first in our hearts. Thank you all so very much. We couldn't do it without you. Jean, thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking time out of your family time. And
go watch Lanterns after you listen to the pod, or before you listen to the pod. Before you get into the spoilers, go watch Lanterns.
And then we'll be at you again later this week with our House of the Dragon season wrap up. And we'll be back to you next week with episode 2. All right.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to The Lorehounds. Please send any questions or feedback to lorehounds@thelorehounds.com or dcu@thelorehounds.com, and check out our Supercast and Patreon feeds for ad-free access and bonus episodes. Look for all those links, including links to all the other podcasts in our network, in the link tree in the show notes. Any opinions stated are ours personally and do not reflect the opinion of or belong to any employers or other entities.